Mm. Hey, what's going on, guys? I am live, I think. I had to remove Twitter. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I had to remove Twitter because um, I don't have a premium account for the Everyman's Arsenal thing over there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to see you guys. What's up, Rabbit? Welcome to the show. I am, if you can tell, I'm on StreamYard tonight, not using EVMux. And it's been so long since I've used StreamYard. It has been it's definitely taken some getting used to. Get rid of that. So welcome. I think it's just going to be me tonight. I don't think Walsh is going to be hopping on. We were talking about doing some giveaways and things like that. So Rabbit, you might be the only one to win something tonight because I only have stuff that I got from SHOT Show that I'm going to be giving away tonight. So stick around, man, and you're gonna be our winner. Hopefully, I don't know if StreamYard's gonna show comments if people comment on Instagram if I'll see those. And then I need to fix the Twitter streaming to Twitter. But Rabbit, dude, you kind of had a crazy day, or was that yesterday that you had the crazy day? Seems like it wasn't something that excuse me. I've experienced that sometimes throughout my career, and it is not something that I'm overly fond of seeing again. So tough, man. Hopefully it all worked out. Okay. Still playing around with StreamYard, so trying to learn how that goes. Again, we are going to be doing a giveaway tonight, dude. Uh, all of a sudden, a bunch of your comments just popped in. So it seems to be a little bit of a delay here on StreamYard. Yeah, dude. So I think I was telling Walsh part of the idea was moving to Friday nights. You know, Joe and Cody typically work Friday mornings, so having a stream Thursday night just kind of made it tough. They were here pretty consistently, but it made it tough for them wanting to get up. Joe gets up at like 4 or 5 in the morning. So moving to Fridays, I thought, okay, well, there's you know no issues with that. But even with my own life, it's like I haven't eaten dinner yet. I was smoking some tri-tip. It's not quite done yet. That's not going to be finished until well after the stream is done. So I think it's going to take some getting used to, but I think I'm pretty committed to keeping the live chat, the hangouts. Uh, it's going to be every other Friday. So every 2 weeks, we're going to be doing this same time, 6 o'clock Pacific time. And some of the things that I'm interested in doing is like, going over some of the 2A news, specifically here in Washington. That's kind of what I'm familiar with the most. There are some similar bills that are kind of running through the courts over in or running through legislature in New York and I think California, maybe even Colorado, regarding 3D printers and how 3D printers can be used for creating firearms. Dude, it's kind of nutso world right now. It's not something that I'm overly fond of. I've been begging to move out of the state for a while. Not gonna happen. It's probably gonna be a couple years. Yeah, dude OD'd in his truck probably really early in the day. PD guessed he had gotten some meth laced with fentanyl, died in his truck. Found him, freaked me out. We had a call one time when I was working down at Eglin Air Force Base, it might be the biggest Air Force base in the world or in the US. It's huge. There's like, I forgot, 40,000 acres or 400,000 acres, some crazy amount. And we get a call that it was a the original call was it was a missing person. So me and my partner started driving out to the location, and it took us about 15 minutes to get out there. Um, and then as we get out there, we get a as we're driving out there, we get a call saying, "No, it's not a missing person." Two hikers found a body, but it was like the guy must have been passed away for a long, long time because it was really just it was like mummified. It was basically just bones. And so we're like, okay, this is less concerning. And then we get out there and we talk to the excuse me, the officers on scene, and they were like, no, it's like super fresh. Um, guy had unalived himself, and it was dude. It was like county sheriffs, I think, and I think it was highway patrol because it was in this area of, even though it was like federal property, that specific area was kind of shared jurisdiction with I think it was state and county. And so there was a distance. They had to break out this like GPS coordinates and measure from specific areas to say, well, that's 15 feet over the line. So that's highway patrol or county sheriffs or whoever it was. But yeah, dude, it was like crazy how the story changes. It just kind of goes to show you that when you're playing the phone game in law enforcement, the information that you get is not at all, well, usually it's not at all what is reality. So, dude, hopefully you kind of shake that off and not have to deal with that again. Hopefully. But yeah, dude, if you're the only one here, I'll tell you right now, it's kind of SHOT Show swag bag. So there's hats in here that we got. I'll show you a couple of the hats. So we have a Ops Corps hat, and then this one's pretty cool. This Griffin Armament, this leather patch on the hat, and then it's just patches galore. When we went to the range day, they gave us these goggles, which I don't need. Dude, this koozies, patches. We always get Criterion barrel, chamber flag, stickers. Dude, there's so much stuff in here. So I should just make the determination now and say, Josh is here. Patches. Yeah, dude, this is my favorite one probably. So it's the Agilite Scorpion, but it's the SHOT Show target. Pretty cool. Yeah, I know. I talk about a giveaway, and all of a sudden everyone's out of the woodworks. I tell you what, if it's the two of you that's here, maybe I'll just split this in half and send half to one of you, half to the other. Oh, Croak's here too. What's up, Croak? Welcome. I think there's just 3. Well, hey, 3 is better than none. I was telling Rabbit, I wasn't able to go live onto Twitter because I had forgotten I made this Everyman's Arsenal Twitter account, and it's not a verified account like the TLD account is. So you can't go live there. I got to pay to be a verified account so I can start going live to Twitter. But I'm also going live to Instagram, which is new for me. And I don't know, I've never done that before. We've never gone live, at least that I can remember, in gosh, how long was it? 3 years, 4 years that we were doing live chats with TLD. I don't think we ever went live on Instagram. So I have no idea if StreamYard, which for those of you that are new, I'm using StreamYard tonight, not EVMux. I don't know if StreamYard is going to show me Instagram comments. And I have the Instagram thing playing over here, but the dashboard or whatever for going live on Instagram doesn't show me any comments. So no idea. Yeah, dude, that Griffin hat is nice. Walsh was actually ranting and raving about it, and I got 2, and then he was like, "Oh, I wanted one of those." So I might just tell him tough luck. He didn't show up to the live chat, so we'll just have to give both of them away. Yeah, Croak, I have not bought my 3D printer yet. It's something that I'm probably going to do this week. I have to do it this week, really. Um, I'm fairly certain that the bills that they're talking about here in Washington State are going to pass. Um, Unfortunately, and it's kind of frustrating too because now this is on me. I have not talked to my my state rep about that. That's an issue for me. It seems like this idea of even having a digital file, not not actually printing the object, but just having the digital file is enough to land you in violation of this 3D printing law. And so it's crazy, but knowing this state, it's going to pass. And looking at the history in Washington State on how the state Supreme Court has handled anything regarding stuff like this, I don't see a pathway um, where that would be challenged and actually overturned here in the state. And as we've seen with like Gators guns and oh man, what's the other one? And that's going to be before the Supreme Court. The Washington State magazine bans, basically. Um, there's no help that you're going to get from the state of Washington to overturn any of those things. So it's frustrating that you know regular people kind of have to put their livelihoods on the line to challenge these unconstitutional bills that end up becoming law. Um, and a lot of times it doesn't go our way. It's very frustrating to see that. So a lot of craziness happening in the 2A world right now, but I'm kind of excited next week. So next Friday, we won't have a live stream next Friday, but we will have one the week after that. The 20th, we should know if there's any of the cases that are before the Supreme Court. I think there's 5 of them. We should have a pretty good idea of which of those, if any, are going to be heard by the Supreme Court. And fingers crossed that they take all of them is what I'm hoping for, but not holding my breath over that. So I don't know. I think I was telling Rabbit too. I think comments are delayed here on StreamYard. I'm definitely seeing some frustrating things here with StreamYard that we didn't have with EVMux, but some of the things I can't quite figure out in the dashboard on how to do things. Like I can't figure out how to change where my name is placed. And like if I want to do something like this is kind of cool. All right, like and subscribe. Appreciate the support, but it covers up my name, and I don't know how to change that around. So I got to mess with this more and figure out StreamYard. It's what we used to use, but it's been so long since we've used it. Not sure if I come back here. Oh, Zach, what's up, dude? So you left out Colorado? Yeah, it's kind of weird. I just went to a different tab. I went from the comments tab. I had it open, and there was no comments in here, and then went to it's called media assets to show that like and subscribe thing, and then boof, all these comments popped in. So, um, not sure what's going on there. Let's see here. Joshua says, "This where we're going if the Discord update goes to poop." Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you heard it. So I'm gonna try to go live here every other week for now. We'll see how it works out with everyone. I'm pretty committed to keeping it on Fridays. Um, but I'm thinking every other Friday, and I'm going to actually start getting more involved with content creation on the Everyman's Arsenal podcast or the Everyman's Arsenal YouTube channel. So one of the things that we were talking about, Walsh and I were talking about, that it's kind of nice to have a brother channel to show off things that you may not look for on the TLD channel, and kind of the thought process that I had, and just so you guys kind of get a peek inside where my mind is going. I look at the TLD channel as an entertainment channel. Yeah, I mean you go there to get educated about a certain product, but Walsh is a very entertaining person, and I'm taking the approach with Everyman's Arsenal of it's like a journal. I have a question. I honestly don't know the answer. And so you guys are going to come along with me as we test this out. So, for example, I'm waiting on a firearm to get out of jail. But this year, what I'm going to work on is can you get good at long distance shooting by shooting a 22 LR? And I think the answer is yes, but I've never done it. I mean, I've never shot past 600 yards before, and that was kind of a luck, with an AR. So I've never gone like real long distance shooting, like Joe's gone out to 1,000 yards before. I'm sure Walsh has gone out pretty far before too. But what I'm hoping to do is, can I get the right skill set with a 22 LR that I can then transfer over to not PRS really, but just shooting long distance. Okay, so Croak, I know I can strongly endorse the Bamboo P1S. Yep. Rabbit, kind of glad I live in Arizona because they haven't passed any anti-gun BS yet. Washington, Oregon, California, Virginia. Oh, I forgot about Virginia. Virginia is going through some heck right now too. We were talking with Elliot Delp at SHOT Show, and if you guys aren't subscribed, Elliot's a great, great guy. But I totally forgot about Virginia and kind of what they're going through now. I like this. Yeah. Luckily, FPC Firearms Policy Coalition will be firing up the lawsuit printer if and when any of that stuff gets passed. Ben Richards, welcome. He says, Arsenal for the Premier League. I have no idea what that means, but I appreciate the support. Croak, answer is absolutely yes. Yeah. And there's some things that, I'm going to answer in the first video that I do, because the firearm of choice is just a plain Jane bone stock Ruger 1022. And I know there's some issues in just as I'm thinking it through, like, well, it's a semi-automatic, it's not a bolt action. There's nothing super special about it. The reason for choosing that is if someone else wants to do the same thing and they decide to kind of follow along in the journey that I'm gonna have this year, it's really easy to get one of them. Even in states like this, you can get a Ruger 1022. Now, I don't know about New York or Colorado or California, but as I'm thinking through what I remember the laws being in those states, I think a Ruger 1022 would be okay to have in any of those states. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I don't live in those states anymore. But that's kind of my thought process behind it. I looked at I think it was a Ruger American, but it's hard to find aftermarket parts for it. And there just doesn't seem to be a lot of support as there is for the Ruger 1022. So that's the reason why I'm going with that. Rabbit says, I know 22 LR rounds get really squirrely long distance because any amount of wind pushes them all over the place. And I think that's something too that I understand that. I feel like with any rifle, a 22 is going to show you your weaknesses, I guess, when you're shooting at 50 yards, because if knowing that the wind can screw you up that bad, if you mess up at 50 yards, you got to go back to school a little bit and kind of relearn how to shoot accurately. I don't know if that's the best word for it, but yeah, I think it's going to be a fun project for me. I mean, it's something that I think I'm going to have a lot of fun going and doing. Man, I'm kind of getting distracted all this. There's actually, I didn't even know this. Every StreamYard has a teleprompter thingy. Like, I could put notes in here, and I don't know how that works, but oh, so can you guys see this? It says on my screen, it says jot down a script and notes to use during the live stream. Oh, only visible to me. Oh, that's interesting. Might have to do that, especially when we get more into like 2A news. It'd be nice to have, that's really cool that they have that. It'd be nice to have some notes that I can go through as we're talking about 2A stuff. Croak, I don't know if you heard when I was talking about the 3D printer stuff that's going on, not just here, but in multiple states. There's a guy on YouTube I found. His YouTube channel is Loyal, Loyal Moses. And Man, he has come up on my feet. He's not a gun guy at all. He's a 3D printing channel, but he's been really going out. I think he's here in Washington, and he's been really speaking out about this bill and how it's probably going to pass, and the struggles that the 3D printing community is going to have with bills like this passing in all these states. And he kind of had a personal interaction with I don't know what you would want to call it, a Gestapo Karen during the pandemic, where if I remember correctly, he took his son out during the pandemic to teach his son how to drive with a trailer, I think. And someone saw him driving around, and oh my gosh, he had a second person in the vehicle with him. And so they called it in. And luckily he had a friend on the police force who called him and was like, dude, you'd never believe, we had someone call in and complain about you having more than one person in your vehicle, during the pandemic. Nothing happened to him, but he was like, he's not a gun guy. He's not immune to this stupidity of state laws. And so for those of us that have experienced stuff like this with these anti-gun bills that have passed over and over and over for years, this 3D printing stuff, people that are upset about that, we're kind of like, yeah, this happens, feels like weekly for us. I mean, I feel like to some extent I've kind of been desensitized to anti-gun bills. Another one pops up and I'm just like, well, it's I'm kind of used to it now, which sucks. Oh, Josh has a great question. Real question is, did Rabbit seal a deal with a forensic lady? Um, if you do not know what's going on, we had a discussion in our Discord earlier, the TLD Discord, which the link for that should be in the description for this the YouTube video. I don't remember. I don't think there was a link in Instagram, but go over there and you can learn more about it. Arsenal, a football club in London. This channel has been recommended to me as I'm an Arsenal fan. Oh, awesome, man. Well, I am not a football fan. I wouldn't say I'm a football fan. Um, but welcome to we're here talking about guns, not football. So, um, if you are interested in guns at all, stick around. If not, oh well. Croak, this is more about Arsenal in the traditional sense, a place where weapons are found. Uh, no, I barely spoke to her. She was busy working. Plus, I guess she was in her early 20s and I'm almost 40. Dude, who cares? Gohan says, I thought it was about Arsenal Football Club. Oh, Croak, this is interesting. Croak says, I'm old, so explain caked up to me. I assume it was a fat butt, but correct me if I'm wrong. I was laughing because my wife and I went on a date last night. Golly, man, I can't remember now. We went and saw that new Kevin James movie, Solo Meal, which if you're into rom-coms, it was a really good one. It was one of my favorite Kevin James movies. But I needed someone to watch I have, a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. And so my 15-year-old son, I sent him a text, "Hey, can you can you watch the girls? Mom and I are going to go on a date." And he replied back something like, "Yeah, go Riz it up," which is Riz. If you don't know, Croak, Riz is short for charisma, and if you have Riz, that means you could talk to girls, I think. So, thanks to my son, I was able to Riz it up, um, and went on a date. I forgot to mention, I know more of you have joined, so we do have. I'll split this up. I do have a SHOT Show swag bag. And I got hats in here and patches and stickers. And so if you're interested in joining, just comment SHOT Show, and then I have a wheel of names screen pulled up, and I'll start adding your names, and then I got to figure out how to share. There it is, share screen. I'll pull that screen over so you guys can see what it is. I have a pretty good guess of who's going to want to join. but verify for me. And yeah, it's kind of weird. I will say that one of the frustrating things with StreamYard so far that I've seen, and I don't really know how to fix this. Maybe I could send them a message after this. Um, it'll be like the last comment that I have is from almost 5 minutes ago. Croak said I'm old, so explain caked up. Um, and then all of a sudden it'll be maybe another minute or so. Poof! It'll just be a bunch of comments that pop in. I will ask if there is anyone here um, from London that's here about the Arsenal Football Club. I'm curious what you guys were searching for, where YouTube would recommend this channel, because this has nothing to do with Arsenal football. But that's two of you. There's been two of you that have been on here talking about Arsenal football. I'd be curious to know what led you here. If you just thought Everyman's Arsenal had something to do with, like, what's this American talking about Arsenal Football Club about? Why is he doing that? Let's see here. Who else do we have in here? Mm-mm. No new ones. Yeah, so Walsh is MIA. He wasn't sure if he was gonna be able to come on, just because helping put kids to bed and things like that, and timing. I thought, okay, well, 8 o'clock his time, he should be able to help out with getting the kids put to bed and then be here. Um, but that is not true. That did not happen. So we're making do without him. And then Joe and Cody, I thought with Walsh here, I figured we were going to talk about Shot Show. So I did not invite them. And I should have, because this would have been super fun having them on here. All right. Who else do we have? Zach, I got to add you. See, poof, a bunch of comments just popped in. I got to okay. Looks like the channel name is bringing a bunch of soccer fans. Yeah. I'm also thought it was about Arsenal Football Club. Caked up, aka she had a nice butt. We can talk football if you guys want, but we're going to accidentally call it soccer and make you mad. Yeah, don't. Speaking of surprise Kevin James movies, Guns Up on Paramount Plus was enjoyable. Oh, I do have Paramount Plus. I gotta check that out. I have Riz. I'm not some 6 to 7 from Ohio. Yeah, Josh, dude, we got a wheel, dude. Make it spin for 5 minutes. I don't know if I could do it that long. As long as we get a wheel of disappointment video, we won't be disappointed. Yeah, it's interesting. Croak says the algorithm just sees Arsenal and assumes it. It's really interesting. And I can't tell you how many times I had typed in Arsenal. I'm like, am I spelling that right? It looks wrong. I'm an Arsenal Football Club fan. The algorithm randomly popped it on my timeline. Well, if you want to stay and chat, we're going to talk about guns and nothing to do with Arsenal football. That doesn't mean that I don't know what's the saying for Arsenal football fans. Do they have like a mascot? Like here in the States, if you're a Seahawks fan, you say "Go Hawks." What's the chant for Arsenal football? Discord said he was playing Star Citizen a little before the stream started. Yeah, I don't really take that, because it says for him he's Yap Yap. I don't know what that is, but he played Yap Yap, and it says he's playing Star Citizen. My guess is his oldest son, his only son, will log on and play video games under his account, and that's why it shows that. So I don't put a lot of trust in that. All right, who did I miss? Oh, Zach. Let me add you. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I think that's what I'm seeing, like a spike in in people viewing the stream, and then it goes away. And my guess is that's what's happening is people are like, "Ooh, someone's talking about Arsenal Football Club," and that is not what's happening here at all. So sorry about that. People that are being tricked by YouTube's algorithm or Instagram, I guess if you're coming from Instagram. Excuse me. That's it. I just got 4 names. Technically 3 because Croak hasn't commented Shot Show. I'm just kind of assuming that's what he wants. So I added him to the list. I could easily divide this up into 4 piles and just send you out stuff. Hmm. Oh, Rabbit, I saw that Harbor Freight TLR1 knockoff. So I have one similar to that came from LA Police Gear, and I've gone through 2 now. The little tab that sits in between the rails that kind of locks the light into the I don't know what you would call it, a little cutout, I guess, on a Glock or on a pistol. Those tabs have broken off on me pretty regularly. And looking at the Braun branded one, it looks super similar to the LA Police Gear one. So um, it's fine. I mean, it mine worked for a year and a half, 2 years before that tab broke off. Um, for the price difference, it was worth it for me. Yeah. And did you buy both of them? I know it says on Discord you said that there was 2 left. Did you get both of them? I'm curious about that. What'd you guys think of man, I feel like I'm like jumping all over the place here tonight. What'd you guys think of Game, that GAIM, the VR that we saw at SHOT Show? That guy Philip used to work at OpsCore and a fantastic person. We really like him. And actually really liked that drone. They had a training program to shoot down drones, and it was pretty fun. Now you kind of get to a point where it's the earbuds that you're listening to the noise are pretty correct, and you can hear the sound of where the drone is, so you can turn correctly and kind of see the drone. And I don't know, man. I mean, do you think people can actually train to shoot down drones using VR? It seems like talking to the guys at Game, it seems like something that a lot of people have been asking about recently, which is why they kind of got into that. So I'd be curious to see, how I would think like skeet shooting would be something similar. Walsh dogging the MC pants giveaway. I wonder how many times have we given away his pants, and no one's got him yet. I think he likes those things so much he'd be like, I'll just buy a pair and send them to you. Yeah. Dude, this like freaking chat thing has been driving me wild that it doesn't update the comments. And I don't know how to fix it. Last time I think it was just kind of coincidence. I clicked on one of the other tabs and all of a sudden it popped in with comments. It showed me, hey, you have 11 unread comments. Um, it's not doing that anymore. So I think last time I did it, when I thought that was a trick, it just was a coincidence. I clicked on a tab right at the time that it refreshed. So I'm way behind, man. The last comment was Rabbit's Star Citizen comment coming up on 8 minutes ago. So not super happy with StreamYard yet. I'm kind of saying, why did we leave? Why did we leave EVMux? This kind of stuff wouldn't happen over on EVMux. Um, but I think it's something we're gonna have to play with more and more. All right. Well, what else is there to chat about? Hmm. Trying to think of what other we talked about. 3D printers. The 20th, we brought up the 20th. There's going to be a potential for the Supreme Court to take up some of the anti-gun bills that have been upheld either in state Supreme Courts around the nation or like Illinois. I think Illinois' assault weapons ban is one of the cases that can be seen before the Supreme Court. Maybe a Massachusetts case. I can't remember if there was, and then there's 5 potential cases that are going to be before the Supreme Court, or they are going to be before the Supreme Court. I just don't know which ones they're going to want to hear or take, and what do they call it? Where they like accept the case and then listen to, start arguing, hearing arguments for that case. Man, I'm so hopeful that at least one of the Washington assault or not assault weapon, the high capacity magazine ban gets through. I was talking to one of the things I mentioned at SHOT Show. We met with the Bull Armory guys, but specifically Sharon, one of the competitive shooters that's with Bull Armory, and I was told him like, man, I'd love to get one of the guns, but I can't get any of them because they're all over 10 rounds. And he was like, Jason, we have California compliant magazines. You can still get our guns. I don't know. There's just something about having a gun that has limited. You're limited on the magazine capacity. It just kind of irks me. I don't want to have to deal with that. Okay. Well, I know what I need to do. Write StreamYard and say, WTF, man, why is the comments not showing up? There's a help section. I can't see comments during my Facebook stream. No. Nope. There we go. None of this stuff is helping. Oh well. It's frustrating, man. Oh, then boom, there they all popped in. Josh, next stream there's an Arsenal flag. What does an Arsenal flag look like? Oh yeah. Okay, the cannon. Okay. Come on, you gunners. Goals. That's the Gun Owners of America, right? That's their show. Croak says, "Me too. I reckon my 23 SHOT Show patch supply is right up. A football podcast may be untapped territory." I'm trying to think. I don't think any of these patches, just off the top of my head, I don't think any of them actually say SHOT Show, SHOT Show 2026. Trying to think. I was telling the guys this is one of my favorite ones. This Agilite with the SHOT Show, the coloring is the SHOT Show target. Thought that was pretty cool. There's some cool patches in here, but man, I don't think any of them say SHOT Show 2026. Nah. Oh, there we go. There's a TNVC SHOT Show 2026. That's Augie, one of their VPs. Pretty cool. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the ACE system, so something that adds long guns with the same fidelity would be cool. I'm not familiar with that ACE system. Oh, smart. Open the live stream in a different window, mute it, and read the comments just like us peasants. Dude, you are so smart. Why didn't I think of that? Because I'm a moron. That's why. I gotta not be on my. I gotta switch my account from the Everyman's Arsenal account to a different one. Dude, you are so smart. I'm not even being facetious either. What? It's like making me so smart. You're the best. There's only one pair he has actually considered giving away because he says they suck. Yeah, I don't remember which ones they are. I want to say they're really expensive ones too. He's yet to give them away. I don't think the pants might be so bad. He doesn't want to put that evil on anyone else. Um, oh, that's awesome, man. I actually reconnected with him about having him on the podcast and doing an interview with him. I really like the guy, and I really like some of the latest content that he's been putting out. Very very Christ centered or Christ focused, which is not something that you see too much of. You know, I think a lot of gun tubers they don't want to get they don't want to get into the religion side of things, and it's fine, totally fine. But yeah, it's been kind of different seeing that side of him, and I like it. I really do. Very cool. All right, what else? Having a neuter magazine would be really lame. Yep. Are you at a store or TF? I don't know what that means. Am I at a store because of the toys behind me? No, that's just another thing that I collect. My swag bag of patches you sent me from 23. Ah, okay. Dude, I have a bag like the one I just showed with older shot show stuff. I got to go through that too. And my wife would probably be like, just give it all away. So, the four of you that are here, I'm just going to get your addresses and I'll split this stuff up evenly. I'm not going to spin the wheel. And you guys can, I'll send you just a buttload of patches and stickers. Dude, I'm talking about, oh, I have, you're going to have way more stickers than you know what to do with. Way more. Uh, this is improvement because we used to say it looked like he was streaming from a hotel room. The room background legit looked like every generic hotel room ever. You know, it's funny because I still have those golden curtains up, and I specifically picked those curtains out because I thought, ah, these will probably look pretty good on stream. And everyone's like, "What are you doing in a hotel?" Uh, it's okay, Jason. You're more on the funny side. Hey, now. Yeah, I think it was UF Pro. We actually saw their booth at SHOT Show. Wall said they suck and absolutely aren't worth the cost. Yeah. I posted a link in the general Discord about a local news segment about our range and the fear mongering. Eric was interviewed. Oh, that's cool. Okay. There's something that I need to do. Rabbit says I have a patch wall now, so I can finally put up my patches. That is something that I don't. I don't really have a patch wall, and I need it. I need a patch wall. I really do. I've thought about uh, the reason why I kind of went away from the guns was just how angry YouTube gets with all that stuff. And so I know this isn't really like have anything to do with the channel at all, but it is something that I like and even have you probably can't see it, but I got a couple that are signed. There's one right there and got a couple more on the shelf above that. But mixing it up a little bit and showing off some more stuff that's a little bit more related to what I want to do on the YouTube channel. Probably be okay to have. But maybe that's something I can do where I have put some Velcro or something like screw some Velcro, like some loop material to this, and then have a patch wall. Or where am I? This wall over here, that plain wall side. That would probably be a good area. I have some like marine, like carpet that you would see in a boat, and kind of like you see that in the inside of a gun safe too. I could probably cut a strip and just hang it up right there, and then that could be my patch wall. I like that. Croak says Ace is the handgun. Oh yeah. Okay, the Ace VR. Okay, comes with handsets that mimic popular handguns like Scotto Sig. And I forgot what did you say? Did you have that already? I feel like it's been a while since I asked about that. Has it? I wish A system didn't have a subscription because I know my 8-year-old would love it and he has a VR. What's the subscription cost? Or is it do you have to pay for the headset itself? Well, I mean, I know you got to buy the headset, but is it a subscription to use the headset or it's a subscription to use Ace? And what's the cost of that subscription? I'm sure I could look it up. I'm just too lazy to. Just buy a roll of 1-inch loop Velcro strips with adhesive backing. Oh yeah. That would look good. Putting them along that. Dude, you're so smart. It's $10 a month to get all the features, but you can use the basic system drills for free. Oh, that's cool. I wonder what it is for game. I think do they both use the Meta? They don't use like PlayStation VR. They both use the Meta Quest system, right? That's probably the most common system. I don't really see a lot of stuff for the PlayStation VR. And I can't imagine PlayStation having some type of game that will let you train kind of like how Ace VR is, but I don't know. Maybe. I didn't know there was a free tier. I might look into it more for him. Yeah, dude, it was I almost GameStop had a sale on the 128 and 256 gigabyte, I think gigabyte headsets. They were like $50 off. So you could have gotten the 128 gigabyte one for like I think it was $200. Wasn't bad. Keep in mind they're adding new courses of fire and drills every week. If you're into IDPA or USPSA, the courses mimic real courses on file. Okay, good to know. Yes, for MetaQuest. Oh, look at that, dude. Real courses. Oh, I said on file instead of fire. Got it. My bad. My bad. Yeah, I gotta reach out to Eric, man. I do have a patch from him. Actually, he gave me. I gave him one of our. Where is it? I have him right here. I gave him one of our nighttime patches. I actually gave one to. He had a crew with him. I can't remember their names, but it was Eric and two other guys. They were at the OpsCore booth when we were there, so I gave him these patches, and he gave me a barrel and hatchet patch. Super nice guy, man. Really, really nice guy. Okay. Croak says that's what the sub costs are covering. Constant content upkeep. Dude, there's no way I can say that 3 times fast. He's a good instructor too. Wasn't he like Air Force PJ or a combat controller or something like that? I want to say he was an Air Force guy. But just man, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Sometimes you meet people and you shake their hand and you just have a short conversation with them and they just come across as a very genuine person. Like, oh, the person that I see online, their YouTube personality, that's how they are in real life. And he just came across that way, a very genuine, uh, genuine person that cares about bettering others. And man, I can't think of too many people that come across that way, where they are really out there trying to better those around them, lift other people up. Now, I don't know the guy at all. He just came across that way. Oh, TAC P. Okay. And he's still in the ANG. Cool. Yeah, I gotta get him on. I'm sure he would have some fantastic stories to share and talk about. And again, his most recent videos kind of getting into the, which I think, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I have a guess that a lot of people that are pro guns are probably Christian or at least religious to some extent. And so seeing him being open and willing to talk about that was pretty cool to see. Makes sense. I just don't think my son would need all the features, at least not right away. There's a couple kids that we have locally that actually shoot competitively. I don't know if you want to get your son into that or if your ex would be okay with that, but that was something that actually I was thinking about for my kids. And I have my older kids are both lefties. And so I actually have left-handed holsters that I had made for them for a Ruger SR 22, little 22 pistol, and mag pouch. And so just having them practice uh, dry firing, but also like magazine exchanges, magazine reloads, and stuff like that. Something that you could really easily do, for 40 or $50. But having something like this ACVR, that seems more enticing now. Oh, I didn't know you got your cans, dude. That's awesome. Says I'm itching to get to the range soon, especially now that I have my cans. I know I really want a 22 can, but again, another law that was passed here in Washington State, you can't have threaded barrels. You can't buy threaded barrels. So, and I can't find them. If any of you out there, wherever you are, if you come across an SR 22 threaded barrel, I would be very happy to learn about what website you find that at, because I've been scouring the interwebs. And I'm sure it's not made anymore. It's an older gun, but I cannot find the threaded barrels. They make them, can't find them in stock anywhere. When I first met him back in 19, he wasn't a big believer. Some things changed in his life that moved him towards Christ. That's awesome, man. Southpaws unite. Yeah. It was kind of interesting. I think I've talked about this at least on one of the TLD streams where I think my wife grew up left-handed. I think she was left-handed, and I think her mom like beat it out of her. And so there's she just does things. She's really good ambidextrous. So it could just be that she's really good ambidextrous, but I feel like she's inclined to do things with her left hand. She shoots left-handed. Um, it's kind of interesting. She's left-handed. She's a left-handed shooter, but she's right-eye dominant. But she just does other stuff that comes across to me as very left-handed. Um, and then her mom has said stuff when our older two kids were growing up and they were, cutting stuff out with, with their left hand or writing with their left hand. Her mom said something like, you really gotta correct that, because if you don't, they're gonna have a lot of struggles in life. And at the time, I don't really I didn't think about it that much, but looking back on it now, I'm like, oh, she was probably she probably like beat the left-handedness out of my wife. My wife just may not remember it. Um, all right, I got to read the comments over here now because they're not popping up over here. So Croak said, when my mom is a lefty, her grandmother wanted her mom to break her hand with a rocking chair while a toddler so she wouldn't be cursed. West Virginia hillbillies. Oh my gosh, dude. But it doesn't surprise me. There is so much superstition out there. I was telling my oldest daughter, my grandmother on my mom's side, my mom's mom, my favorite person in the world. I genuinely my favorite person. Love her to death. Um, Back in 1989, she was I was playing in the front yard of my house. I was living with her, and I swear to you, she smelled the air and she said, "Smells like earthquake weather." Swear to God. And we had the big Loma Prieta earthquake that day. It was like 7.9 on the Richter scale, something like that. So that was one instance where it was like, oh my gosh, grandma's like a witch or something. And then the other one was, so my mom had four boys. Um, all of my siblings I could think of have had boys. And so I thought, like, on my dad's side, it was all boys. Like, my grandfather, my grandmother on my dad's side had all boys. So I was like, "That's dude, I'm never having girls." It's like, it's a done deal. Telling my wife, like, "You better get used to the fact we're not gonna have any girls. We're gonna have a bunch of boys." My grandmother was the one. I think my wife was like, it was before we found out what the gender was, and my grandmother's like, "Nah, you're gonna have a girl." I'm like, what? Grandma's crazy. Sure enough, man, we had 3 girls. Um, Rabbit says, "My dad made my sister ambidextrous. She was naturally left-handed, but my dad would take stuff out of her left hand and put it in her right hand when she was really little." Interesting. Grandma the Bruja. Yeah. Oh, dude, she was a force to be reckoned with. One of my other favorite memories, I don't know why this one sticks to my mind. I had a younger brother who was 2 years younger than me, and he was kind of a runt. He's still I'm still a lot bigger than him. I probably got him by like 80 pounds and maybe 8 inches. Um, and we got into a fight one time. I don't know, 6 or 7. And she came up behind me and close fist clocked me on the side of the head, and it just threw me for a loop. And I remember being on my butt looking up at her, and she has both her fists up, and she goes, "Why don't you pick on someone your own size?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, grandma don't play, man." Um, I'm not finding an SR22 with a threaded barrel anywhere. Plenty of TX22s with threaded barrels. Yeah, every website that you can replace them. If you were to find an SR22 threaded barrel, it's not hard to replace. Every single website I've gone to, they're sold out. But you should be able to find at least pictures of them. The TX22, I thought TX was the Taurus. Is it a Ruger? TX22? I don't know. No, it says Taurus. Taurus TX22. Mm, I mean, I guess it kind of looks similar. I don't know enough about if so I know, like, I think the SIG Mosquito is the same as the GSG Firefly, but I don't know if, like, I don't know how that plays, what parts are interchangeable or not. But Ruger SR22 threaded barrel. Just look at the images. Yeah, you can find them. Ew. Are you saying ew because it's a Taurus? Uh, it's interesting because Walsh wants to build, I think he calls it like a James Bond gun. He wants to do a Griffin Armament. I believe it's Griffin has a new 22 suppressor, or they've had one that they're trying to promote this year, or I don't know, something like that. So he wants to do like a James Bond, quiet gun. And I had suggested the Ruger SR22. I have a Ruger. I don't have a threaded barrel, but I have one. I like it. So I like that'd be kind of cool. But then Walther would be, I think, more James Bond esque. That makes sense to me. Getting a Walther, and there is a Walther 22 LR pistol, I believe. I don't know the model name. I think it has a threaded barrel. It's got to have a threaded barrel. It's a Walther. Um, but then the only one that I've seen regularly in stock is a Taurus. And so part of me is like I should try to upsell the Taurus to Walsh just because it would be funny to have that be his James Bond gun. Um, and I don't know. I just think it'd be fun to, if we all start messaging him like, "Hey, Jason said you wanted to build a James, you should really look at the Taurus TX22." Although I could imagine Griffin Armament being like, "No, we don't want to put our can on some stupid Taurus." So, Croak says Midwest Gunworks is your best bet for getting SR22 threaded barrel, and yeah, Walther makes a pretty good 22 pistol. Yeah, thanks, man. I just want a TX22 because of the FRT. I didn't know they had that. Did they really? I can't imagine that in a pistol. Midwest Gunworks. I could have sworn I've been there before, but I don't know. 22 go burr. There was someone that made a belt. It was like a belt fed 22 kit, like an upper that you could put on a full auto AR lower. I think I'm remembering that correctly. And that was really cool. I tell you something I saw that was really cool. I don't know if any of you guys are into airsoft, but the Minnesota Airsoft Association Instagram page, the guy's name is Gabe Stitzel. Awesome guy. He showed it would look like an airsoft Gatling gun, and talk about. I mean, I'm not in the airsoft, but that would be a really fun thing to have. Croak says, print, shoot, repeat. Did a video on the TX22 with FRT that had the Taurus rep saying at SHOT this year that they're back ordered for 6 months or more. Holy cow. Just check Midwest Gunworks and SR22 threaded barrel is sold out. Yeah. Oh, the Airsoft CWIS. I don't know if that's what it was called. And I don't know if I go to Instagram on another tab, if that's going to mess up me going live on Instagram. So I'll check it out. I'll see if that's the one. I'll shoot you. I got to shoot you a message on Discord afterwards. Get your address. Okay. Croak says Midwest Gunworks will get them back in stock though. Get on the mailing list. Will do. Definitely do that. I gotta have it sent somewhere else though. I got to tell my friend about it. My friend who lives not here. Got to tell him about that barrel because he's been looking for that barrel specifically. Just let you know. That sounds like the place to go. Well, cool, dude. Your friend in Arizona? Yes, my friend in Arizona. Yes, I had. I don't know what I can say because I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, I can get things. Josh says also friendly reminder: get your IWA cert and play with watered down flashbangs. What's an IWA cert? I don't know what that is. It would be nice to have a friend in the Midwest, you know. I do have a friend in the Midwest. I don't know. Sometimes I'm not entirely sure how willing he is to do certain things I might ask of him. So I'm not entirely sure how that would play out, but I have other things to do. There's other places that I visit pretty regularly that don't have don't have stupidity plaguing them. IWA where you get M13s and door charges. I still don't know what IWA is. Well, you got a friend in Florida. Oh, thanks, bud. IWA flashbang. What is that? That's just what it's called. IWA International. I didn't know that. IWA International. Ooh, that's dangerous, man. They have oh, that'd be fun. Smoke and distraction devices. Multi-bang device. Dude, that's $60. They're safe. Off to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah. Hope I get away with it, dude. Like, that's awesome, man. All right. Well, we are past an hour. So the four guys that I mentioned, who is it? Croak, Josh, Rabbit, Zach. I'm gonna get your guys' address. I'll divvy up my goodies and look for some packages for me. And then I know for sure Walsh has stuff that he's working on giving away. I'd asked about, hey, do you want me to do some giveaways today? And I don't think he had gone through the stuff that he had to give away, but I'm talking like nylon gear type stuff. So look for that 2 weeks from now when we do our next live stream. That's probably when am I blurry? I feel like I'm blurry all of a sudden. That's probably where we're going to do our next live stream. So that's going to be, what is that? The 27th. And I'll see if Walsh will have his stuff together by then, so we do the giveaway of the goodies that he has. Croak says Hoplite makes a reusable flashbang that takes blanks. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he was talking about going through his box of random stuff. Yeah, he's got a lot of it, dude. And his spouse is probably pushing to have him get rid of that stuff. So 2 weeks from now, on the 27th, we'll do another live chat. We'll do giveaway then. And hopefully I'll be verified on Twitter by then. So we'll be live, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. If any of you are on Instagram, I'm curious how it was. I don't know. I don't like the look of it. I'm kind of seeing both sides. So obviously, YouTube is landscape, but Instagram is a portrait, and it's just my face. And so I don't have a lot of, like, I'm out of frame there and I'm out of frame there. So I got to be careful about using it, but I think it's another avenue for us to post stuff to. Croak says 2 years ago his basement was overflowing with stuff. Can't imagine it got any better since then. So Walsh Actual has a solid case. Yeah. Don't hold the flashbang. It'll take your fingers off. And there's a video out there showing it. So be careful. Do not be if you're going to go out and check out these protests, go out as a medic, because they're going to need your help. And yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, hey, I appreciate you hanging out with me and just chatting. Again, I'll get your guys' address. We'll get this stuff mailed out to you this week, and I'll send you tracking information when I have it. I think that's all I have, though. Not smart to pick them up. Not smart to pick up a thrown flash or smoke. Yeah, definitely not. Cool, guys. Well, I appreciate you being here and hanging out with me. I'm going to figure out, how do I close this thing down? And yeah, just say thank you. I'll see you. I do have your address, Croak. I'll have to scroll a little bit to find it, but I do have your address. And I do have rabbits. So Josh and Zach, I'm pretty sure I can track your guys down. I think I've sent you guys stuff before, but I'll track that stuff down and get you some stuff sent out. I look forward to seeing you guys in a couple weeks. Adios, guys. Thanks for hanging with me.